Happy 4th of July, ladies and gentlemen. Busy schedule today on the 4th. I had to schedule about 8 refrigerator pickups today and 2 hot tubs. So Maddie and Orson are going to help out with the hot tubs. I'm going to do all the fridges. So there's about 10 jobs on the schedule today, this morning. And I'm not going to film every single one of the refrigerators, but I will show you the F550 from beginning to start, how it's empty and then it gets full. I will show you that. That's not a problem. What I wanted to talk about today was my journey into junk removal on the 4th of July. I've never told this story before because it was really never brought up. I never really thought about it, but then it has relevance to today. There's a lot of things that I can remember about this story that's really important to me and to my father, who passed away about almost 9 years ago, something like that. So I've been doing this for 17 years. I've been in the junk removal business for 17 years. And about 15 years ago, we had a cookout. I remember this like it was yesterday. We had a cookout. My dad was there, and my dad was not sick at the time. And I remember going over to my parents' house in Fort Worth, right where I live, actually. And we went over there, and they were having a cookout. We were going to celebrate the 4th of July and look at fireworks and stuff like that. And my dad knew I was separating from my wife. We were going our separate ways. And my dad also knew that my previous business was dying. It was I owned retail stores in Dallas. I owned 5 shoe stores, and with the divorce came the separation. With the separation came me losing my business because of the divorce, of course, and it helped out. But I'm going to tell you something, losing that business was the best thing that ever happened to me. I do remember that. It was like such a elephant off my, so I don't know the term, I don't care. So anyway, and the reason I'm doing this video is because I was thinking of my father this morning and how my father was. He was a businessman. He was a hard-working man, and he taught me everything I know in business, everything I know, but he was really quiet. My father was a quiet gentleman. He didn't say much, but when you pissed him off, he said a lot. A lot. With that said, I remember him telling me, and he said, Ricardo, I know you. That's good that you lose that, which is true. He knew I wasn't making any money. He says, you work too much. He said, what are you going to do now? And I told him, well, I've been doing this junk removal on the side, like every weekend I do it. And I was doing junk removal. I had started doing junk removal, but I was doing it on the side. Like only when people called me, I'd just show up. And I was doing like 2-3 jobs a week. Isn't that funny? I pick up trash from people's houses, and he said, well, how is that business going to work when they can call the city to do that for free? I said, yeah, but it's like more of a high end, more like I try to explain to my dad that only rich people would hire us, and that it's, back then there wasn't a word for it, really. There wasn't a word for it in Spanish that I could think of, because I talked to my dad in Spanish. It was more like, Dad, only specific people get us to call us, and they'll pay the money. And he's like, well, they're got to be rich. And I was like, yes, they are rich, Dad. And he says, I don't know if your business is going to work or not, but I will tell you this, son. I remember him saying this to me, and he said, if anybody can make this business work, it'd be you and all my sons. And I asked him why. He said, you work a lot, you're hard working, you're determined. And he said, I will tell you. And then he said, he kept on talking to me. He gave me some words of wisdom. And he said, if you're going to do this, go all the way and do it right. Just do it and grow the business as big as you can. Well, my dad passed away years later. It's been 9 years since he's passed. And he never saw my business grow as big as it is now. junkguysdfw.net is a junk removal service based out of Dallas, Texas. Over the years, we've grown into Arlington. We've grown into Aledo, Texas. Junk Guys Aledo. Junk Guys Arlington. Junk Guys Frisco. Junk Guys North Texas. Yeah, Junk Guys McKinney. We're all over the place now in the DFW area, but I think it's really more important that I explain something to you is how we expanded outside of Texas and the surrounding cities, not just localized ourselves. So as I'm growing the business, I was working with a gentleman named Jose, and Jose had been working with me for like 3 years, and we were first building this business. Of course, I've been doing this for 17 years. And he says, me and my wife are moving to Houston. My wife is pregnant, and she wants to have the baby next to her father. Her family's in Houston. What do you think about opening a Junk Guys Houston? And I said, well, I don't know how to do that, but I'm good on the computer. Maybe I could build something. So I built a website in Houston, Texas, and it took me a little while. It was probably the longest website that ever took me to rank in Houston, Texas, okay? Hey, what's up? And it was the longest website that ever took me to rank. It was junkguysdfw.com. And I built it and I worked around it. I did a lot of specific things to make it work. And it got ranked on the first page of Google after time. And it's been off of Google and on Google. It's like all over the place now. Now, Jose and me worked out a deal where he paid me a monthly fee. And I wanted to do it this way, and I didn't want to charge him for, like, if he made $10,000 or $100,000, I didn't want to charge him a percentage. I wanted him, because he was my friend, to make a living off of this. I wanted him to grow his business, expand his business, and make money off this business. That's what I was trying to do the whole time. And I was trying to build something for him and his family, is what I was trying to do. He's been there now over 12 years. He's been working in Houston. As I'm building Houston, someone contacts me from Austin. I go down there, I do interviews, and I open junkguysdfw.com. Now I have Junk Guys Houston, junkguysdfw.com, and it was a great guy. His name was Adrian. And Adrian worked with me for 7-8 years, and he paid me a monthly fee also. It was awesome. There's always an introduction fee. There's like, hey, here's, a couple of $1,000. Let me start doing it. And back then I didn't have a brand. I didn't have a name. So they were just taking a risk. I didn't charge these guys that risk. I was just charging them a monthly fee. Adrian, later on, he quit and did his own junk removal business. And the crazy thing about it is that Adrian worked with me for about 7 years, and he built his website, Junk Guys Austin, so strong. It was a perennial powerhouse. And then he decides to quit, and he started another company called Junk Daddy or something like that. And I said, okay, well, you're leaving me a great looking website. You built all this SEO for it. It's got a history. Yeah, go do your own thing. I was like, yeah, go, Adrian. I mean, you helped me out, brother. Go do your own thing. And I was very forward with him. I said, but you built something here. It's crazy. He said, yeah, I just don't want to pay you the monthly fee. I'm like, okay. And in came Vince Marquez. Vince was struggling in his own way. I don't know if it was family or life, but he wanted a business, and we worked together. We built a business to Junk Guys Austin. And as Junk Guys Austin grew up, Junk Guys San Antonio, I was reached out by a fella in San Antonio.